Hello everyone, I'm back again and this time we're learning how to make this lovely design. To all my new viewers, you are welcome. Thank you so much for clicking in. Please do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel and also to click on the notification bell so that you have notifications whenever we upload new tutorials. Now to the materials needed, they include raw silk fabric, your foam, your accessories, your gum, your measuring tape, your scissors, as well as your needle and thread. Tutorial. We are working on a turban cap using raw silk fabric, and for this raw silk fabric I recommend you get 1.5 yard. You can also get one trouser length, but you may have to join your fabric to give you the full length of what you are working with. So I recommend getting 1.5 yard. There'll be excess left. Then this design has the round pleated band. It has the base, which I'm going to be lining. Lining is always optional, and the turban cap will be coming with the handle for tying at the back. Then on the turban cap there is a round padded design that goes around the turban cap, and then finally there is another embellished padded design by the side. So this is what makes up this turban cap. Now I've cut out my fabrics before. Now let me go ahead to state out their measurements. With the fabric for the band, I have my fabric here. I'm going to be using 14 inches for the width by 25 inches for the length, which is the head circumference and the stretchy part of the fabric. So 25 the length by 14 inches for the width. This is for the pleated band. Then for the base, I have 2 pieces of fabric here. Measurement is 14 by 25 cut out twice. 14 by 25 cut out twice for the base. 14 inches for the width and 25 inches for the length. For the first padded design that is on the turban cap and that goes around it, the measurement is 27 inches for the length which is on the stretchy part of the fabric, by 8 inches for the width, 27 by 8 inches. Now for the second padded design, which is going to be by the side and is going to be embellished, the measurement is 50 inches for the length. The 50 inches is on the stretchy part of the fabric, by 8 inches for the width, 50 by 8 inches. This is for the embellished padded design. Now addition to all this, I have my foam, and I'm going to be using my foam for padding. In place of foam, you can as well make use of fiber. Okay, now for the first padded design, I'm making use of 1/2 inch size of foam, which is the smallest size of foam, because this is what I have available at the time of making this video. So the length for the foam is 25 inches, while the width is 7.5 inches. It's 7.5 inches because I have intention of folding my foam into 2 to make it thick a bit. So 7.5 by 25. And if at the end of the day it's a little too big, I'll just trim off a bit off one end. Then for the other embellished padded design, the length right here is 47 inches. I have 47 inches as the length by 7.5 inches, 47 by 7.5 inches, and I'm also going to be folding this into 2 again. So that's what makes up this turban design. Now starting with the fabric for the round band, so I will just get it and I will start by folding in this edge. I will stitch it down from one end to the other. Okay, please note that you are folding it in twice. So I'll get my fabric, I'll fold this in the first time, fold it down again so as to cover that fraying edge, then take it down to my sewing machine and stitch it down from one end to the other end. Thereafter I'll flip this over to the fine side and then go ahead to start pleating my fabric. So I will pleat. As I pleat, I will sew. As I pleat, I will sew it down from one end to the other until I exhaust this entire fabric. So I'm going to do that off camera. Now I'm going to get the fabric for the padded design, both of them, and I will fold each piece of fabric into 2 equal halves this way, and then I'll fold it into 2, the fine side inside and the wrong side outside, and I will stitch this down from one end of the fabric down to the other end. The same thing is applicable to the second padded fabric. Now for my handle, I'm going to be repeating the same thing. I'll get each piece of fabric, fold it into 2 equal halves with the fine side inside and the wrong side outside, and then place on my sewing machine, then stitch it down from this end down to this very end, and after which I will turn all these fabrics inside out, and then I'll get back. At this point I'm done pleating my fabric. This is the fine side and then this is the wrong side. I'll now get the fabric for my base. I'll get the first piece of fabric for my base and I'll place it with the fine side facing me this way. Thereafter I'll get my pleated band and I'll place fine side facing fine side like this. Then I'll get the second fabric for my base, fine side facing the first fine side of the first fine side of this second fine side of this fabric facing the first fabric, fine side facing fine side. I'll place it down like this. I'll take it down to my sewing machine and I'll stitch it through from one end to the other end. So right here I have my fabric already sewn from one end to the other end. I'm going to go ahead to turn this inside out. This is the wrong side and I have the fine side here. I'm going to set this aside while I work on the padded design that will be added to it. Right here is my padded fabric. I've sewn it and I've gone ahead to turn it inside out, and this is how it is. Here I have my foam, so I'm going to fold this into 2 equal halves and I'm going to be passing this inside this already sewn fabric from one end to the other, and when I'm done I'll get back for us to continue. Okay, at this point I have my foam inside my fabric, and please note that the foam should not get to the very end of the fabric. Now that that is done, I'm going to get my turban base, which is this. Then I'll place my padded fabric on it. Now whenever you're working on a similar design, ensure that the padded fabric is always a little bit bigger than the base, so that it can lap in very well. It can sit in properly when you close your cap to when you close your base to form the cap. So if you look carefully, this is a little bit bigger than the base. So I'll start from this end. I'll pull it in, I'll pin it down, then I'll come over to this edge, I'll pull it in and I'll also pin it down. Then I'll fold it into 2 equal halves, take it down to my sewing machine and stitch it down. So my sewing stitch is going to start immediately after, it's going to start from the band rather. So from the band I'll stitch this down to this point and then extend it to this very end. Right here I have my cap already sewn, starting from the band together with the padded design all the way to this end and down to this very end. Now let's assume that you do not want to add a handle. What you do is that you get the actual head size you are working with. Let's say I'm working with 23 inches as the actual head circumference of my client, and then on foot it will be 11.5 inches. I'll go ahead to measure out 11.5 inches, which is what I'm having here. Then I will stitch it down like this, and that is what I have done. If you now want to decrease to the actual head size you are working with. So now that that is done, we'll be making our running stitch. For that we need a matching color of needle and thread, then to come immediately after the band all the way down to this very end. Now that that is done, this is it. I'll flip this over to the fine side and I have this. Now the next we'll be doing is I'll be adding a handle down to our cap. So to get that, locate the midpoint of your turban cap. Then from the midpoint on both sides, measure out 8 inches and mark it down. As soon as you are done, check to ensure that the 8 inches on both sides are aligned together. Now get your handle. This is the handle of my turban cap already sewn, and I've gone ahead to turn it inside out. So just get one piece, go ahead to fold in the fraying end. So this is our cap. Place it upwards this way on that part that was marked earlier and pin it down. Then take it down to your sewing machine to stitch it down at that point. You stitch it down here so that it comes down like this. Flip over to the other side, get the other fabric, fold in the fraying edge, place upwards like this, pin it down, stitch on that part that was marked so that it comes down like this. I have my handle already sewn. This is the first one and this is the second one. So my turban base is fully ready. I'll set this aside while we work on the design. For the design, I have my fabric already sewn. The fabric is sewn and turned inside out. Now I'm going to get my foam. I'll fold this into two like I explained earlier, and I'm going to be passing this inside my fabric. So I'll do this off camera, and as soon as I'm done, I'll get back for us to continue. Okay, here I have my fabric, and if you look carefully, I have my foam inside your fabric. The foam should not get to the very end of your fabric. Now that that is done, fold it into 2 equal halves. You will notice I placed the sewn part at the middle. You can also decide to adjust it and place the sewn part by the side. Okay, then fold into 2 this way. We're going to now stitch down this edge. After stitching, if you have a weaving machine, you can weave it, but if you don't have, fold it in and stitch it down. So this is it after stitching, and then I'll go ahead to turn it to the fine side to get this. I'll go ahead to get my needle and thread. I'm going to be making a running stitch through it, starting from one end to the other, but as we make our running stitch, we are going to be pleating it. So this is it now. You pleat your fabric, and at the edge you pass your needle and thread through it. You go again, you pleat your fabric, and then you pass your needle and thread through it in that order until we go round. You go again, you pleat your fabric, and then you pass your needle and thread through it. So you are stitching at one end, just like this. As soon as we are done pleating and making the running stitch, this is what we'll get. I'll go ahead to open it up. Now you pull your thread, but don't pull so tightly. Don't pull so tightly. Thereafter, after opening it up and setting it in place, if your thread is tightly pulled together, loosen it up, fold it this way as shown in the camera, and then go ahead to make use of your needle and thread to stitch it through. Now if you turn your padded fabric over to the wrong side and you fold into two to stitch it down, you'll see that you get something like a semicircle. So just keep stitching until you go to the end. As soon as all that tacking is done, this is what you get. I'll just open it up and set it in place properly, and at this point you can get your accessory to embellish. That is, your can place an accessory on it for embellishment. This is how it looks. Right here I have my cap. As you can see, remember I said when you're stitching it, when you're making the running stitch and pleating, after doing that you shouldn't pull it very tightly, and after you fold it down like this and then stitch it on this part, and then go ahead to open it up and straighten it out so that you will have this. The next thing I'll do is that I'll get my turban cap. Please place this on your dummy head first so I can get the perfect fitting for it. I will go ahead to place this on my padded design like this, and then I'll go ahead to tag this down to my padded design using my needle and thread, or you can also decide to use your gum to glue it down. As soon as I'm done tacking, I will go ahead to get my applique, and then using my candle gum and glue gun, I will apply gum on it and then glue it down on it this way, and then that is all. Then I'll place on my dummy head to show us the final outlook. I'm going to go off camera to do my tacking, my gluing, then get back. So as soon as all that is done, this is how it's looking like. This is the finished look. And then you can also decide to embellish this part with any other accessory of your choice. But this is all that there is to it. So when we place it on our dummy head, this is how lovely it looks. Thank you so much for watching. If you got value, please like, share, and leave comments in the comment section. Also follow us on Facebook and on Instagram. We are there as JenieConcept. Bye.